Great. So I'll make this fast. I really didn't think anyone would be available tonight because it's holiday weekend, but it does kind of make sense, I guess, because a lot of places are closed. So maybe you guys are off work tonight. So I'm trying to make it brief. I'm hanging out with my family. It's movie night. And yeah, so I wanted to give you guys just a quick tour of kind of what the gist of the course is going to be. And so that way you know what to expect. Because the first assignment is kind of like the rest of the course, but not exactly. So let me get logged into Canvas here and I'll get a window for us. Let's see. Can everyone see the assignment screen for my view?
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay, good. And so just FYI, I design this course new every single semester based off the training I do and the research I do with AI and stuff. So if you find an error in the site or something that doesn't make sense, just shoot me an email. If you've already seen that, please put it in the chat and just let me know. So this isn't just like some cookie cutter thing I paste in from the publisher. I literally design this by hand, put my heart into it like every single semester for students, because I'm always trying to advance and advance you as technology and stuff advances. Okay, so let's look at just briefly assignment 1. And this is kind of a good introduction. And it's a good introduction to sociology. So essentially, this course goes a little bit beyond sociology. I try not to hammer you guys with all the stuff. But you'll start out with, kind of a little bit of a history lesson too, which is really important because after the cognitive revolution, humans in small groups created language. And as small groups began to be able to communicate in larger groups, because if you think about it, language is just a symbol. You attach a meaning to the symbol. Suddenly, when everyone understands what the meaning to that symbol is, you can cooperate with all those people that understand the meaning of symbols. So that's very powerful. It's also one of the main theories of the course, which is symbolic interactionism, which is just saying that, people, for us to kind of work together and learn, we all have to agree what the symbols are. We define them, and then we act based on those shared meanings, which is true. And so really the power of humans is language. And this first assignment is over this language, and then how not only language emerged, but then other cooperation emerged. And then so you have mass cooperation with new forms of language, and things just kept emerging for humans that put us at the top of the food chain. And there's always a cost, as you'll learn in this course, and that's largely what it is. So when you have a big social system that emerges from language and cooperation, and it's essentially imaginary, right? So if you think about education, it's not, education itself is just an idea, it's a concept. It does pave the way for books and buildings and stuff like that, but education itself is just a bunch of ideas, okay? But it's very powerful because now the real world, right, is based on a lot of imaginary stuff. But it's also problematic because now that we are the apex predators at the top of the food chain and our brains haven't evolved because our culture and social systems have evolved so rapidly, our brains don't know that. Our brains think that we're still running from wild animals and like real threats. And so if you look at social media, technology, just life in general, like getting this job, this degree, our brains perceive those and treat those as actual real threats, and it doesn't know the difference. And so it's really kind of intense for us in the modern world because we have all these symbolic threats happening. It starts to explain a lot about, why people are so depressed and alone and all this stuff. So everything comes with a cost. So we've developed all these social systems, and there's a lot of good things too, though, right? Because we all love America, right? We love going around without getting, shot, and there's no wars like happening internal in our country. It's pretty predictable, especially in an area like ours. There's some larger, metropolitan areas that are obviously less predictable with gangs and violence and stuff like that. But for the most part, you can drive around town and you can expect people, except for that last person who always flies through right at the last minute. Most people don't run red lights. They're not trying to crash into you. So there are some benefits to it, but there are a lot of costs, and those costs you don't really think about until you take a class like this. And so that's what we're going to study. And so this first assignment is just understanding how all of this emerged for humans and connecting it to sociology. And so you will, basically listen to this audio overview. And so this is a podcast created by Google Notebook LM. If you don't know what that is, get it right away because it is an insanely productive study tool. You can put any kind of sources in this AI, and it will create these very easy to understand podcasts that basically cover the material. And you can even give it directions like, hey, I want you to cover this. You can use it as a study tool. I use it as a teaching tool. I say, hey, I want you to, cover this stuff. And so you can listen to it driving down the road. You can, consume it. I like listening to stuff now because I can multitask. But AI is great. So just so you know, it is AI. I've forgotten to tell people that in the past, and about halfway through the semester, people are like, oh my gosh, because it sounds so real. They had no idea it was AI. So it's not me. It's literally Google Notebook LM. You can put one word in this algorithm and it will talk about one word for 20 minutes. That's how powerful the algorithm is. But anyway, so you're going to listen to this week one. You're going to make all these connections. And essentially each week in this course, you're going to do what's called a video overview. It's going to start out really easy, very simple. Just get on your computer or your phone, just do your best. There's very low pressure at first, especially because, recording and editing video is a little bit time consuming, and it does take a little bit of a learning curve if you're not used to it. So it just starts out really easy right away. You're just going to record, do the best you can. You're going to post it in these discussions, and there's not really anything for you to do there. If you do want to interact and leave feedback, just make sure it's constructive and positive. But you can also see and learn from other people, because everyone's going to be at a different skill level, right? Some people are just going to be recording from their phones. That's fine. Some people are going to have a screencast with a PowerPoint presentation going with good graphics and research and all that stuff. And so the people who haven't ever seen that before, they're like, oh, we can do that. And we have this powerful free tool available to us called Yuja, and it's over here if you can see. I think it's built right in. So if you are worried about like, oh, I don't even know how to record a video or do anything like that, this will actually do it for you. And it's a really easy software to use. They have tutorials and stuff you can watch as well. And so, yeah, you'll start out really easy. You're just going to do a video overview. I have made these journals for you, that, especially since it's such a fast-paced course. The journal will actually not only walk you through each assignment each week and provide you a place to like store data and stuff, but it also helps you complete the final project. So each stage, you're going to basically be working with these course learning goals. And these goals are what make this course, like you achieving these, transferable to a 4-year university, which is in the plans for a lot of people who come through this college. And so you want to make sure in the future that when you're transferring to another college that they accept this course, because otherwise you just wasted, $2,000 or whatever it costs to go to college these days. And so I'm just going to introduce you to them in this assignment, but starting in assignment 2, you'll actually start taking that work for your final project and storing it here. So think of this as a living document. You can combine the journals, or you can keep them all separate. Just keep them all filed in one place. This is especially handy if you're doing or working with language models. You are not, as I mentioned in the syllabus, you're not required to use AI. I can't require you to do that. I can't even really use it because it's not ADA 508 compliant. But I know a lot of people are using AI because I just wrote a textbook on it and teaching higher education institutions around the world how to use it ethically and effectively. And so I know it's out there, and I give you the space to use it in here as well. We'll get to that in just a second. Okay, so you just go through the journal. Literally, if you guys are familiar with, if you download it, it'll be a Word document. And if you're in Word, you can there's a little button on the bottom left corner. You can open up the headers, and so you can navigate and kind of see where you're at and keep track of where you're at. And you are going to write your main thoughts here and just fill this out so this first time you're just going to be listening to this audio overview. And so you're going to fill this out as you listen to it. Or you can fill it out after. If you listen to it while you're driving, then you can when you get home, fill out the best you can. If you have to go back and reference it, make sure and put the podcast on learning speed. Don't listen to it at 1 if you can handle it. If you can put it up to 1.25 or 1.5, you can get through it that much faster, especially if you're going back through it again. And this is how the journal is set up each week. And so it just guides you through this. You're going to enter your answers and stuff here. I've made a place to, let's see. Yep, so this covers everything you're supposed to do. And then I would suggest just using this space to go ahead and create your outline for your presentation. You can even have it up on another computer, like reading from it. And I've also put so yeah, here's where you can create a transcript. So if you are using AI and you get all this stuff together, you can just boom, put it into AI, and then it spits it out. And it's like, oh, here's your transcript, right? And so it makes a transcript for you easily. Again, you're not required to do that. I'm obviously A-okay if you just want to put the transcript And then this is really handy. So if you guys haven't worked with AI or the new language models yet, they can just analyze vast amounts of data. So when I was writing my book, I could literally put 200 pages in at a time. Just so I'm doing 200-page prompts. It's just pulling. You put in the data, it can extract information from it. Put in other data, or it can extract it from online, or it's training data, right? And so if let's say you're doing research, or you're like, oh, this is really interesting to me. If you're reading one of the online readings or watching one of the videos, and you open another link, and you're like, oh, let's see, research on AI education. Just do a quick example here. And you're like, oh, okay, well, and you're reading something, and you're like, oh, this is really cool. I'm going to save it for later. Maybe put, let's see, where are we back at over here? Oh, sorry, this thing's in my way. So go back to your paper, and you can paste the link in there, and then paste whatever text in there. And then later on, when you're doing your final project or when you're doing your presentation, you can literally just have your model or whatever pull this for you to help you create your project, or you can do it yourself. So it's, even if you don't use AI, this is great because you just have it all stored in one place, right? Okay, I realize I'm talking super fast. I'm going to give it a break for just a second. Any questions, comments, concerns?
There we go. Sorry, I had myself muted. I was going to
Oh, you're
ask,
good.
so with the journal, so we fill that out as we're going uh through the course, and then the videos and all that is a separate assignment, correct?
No, this is making the video for you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so this is the assignment. And so, yeah, so this is why I do this. It's a little bit different. So you're listening to the audio overview. Later on, you'll be also like choosing one video and one text. But while you're listening to it, you fill this out, and then you're going to do a video presentation from the journal. The journal that's why I put the journal together. That way it guides you, and then you can pull from that to make your video. So, and for your final project components.
Perfect. Thank you.
Makes sense? Okay, cool. Great question.
How how do we like are the prompts just in the like to like know what to write about in like the sociology journal entry 1? Is like that where we go?
Yeah, that's all the prompts, everything. Yeah, it literally is meant to
Okay.
guide you through it. So if we look at, and I even put a link to the audio overview here, which I think technically I should call it a podcast. I don't know, but
I
anyways,
don't think the link works, or at least on my end it doesn't work. But
okay,
the like attachment works.
yeah, that's why I do both, because when NWAC system goes down and the link doesn't work, I also upload it. So the hard file's uploaded inside Canvas. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, so if you look here, so look, it's okay. So the link does work here, at least in the journal right now, and so it's working through Canvas right now. But yeah, you just read through everything. It tells you what the journal is about, and it tells you basically what to do. So we're entering a new era, right, where AI can pretty much do almost anything that a professor can do. It can do all of the academic work that a student can do. And so higher education was already out of sync with technology, but once generative AI came, it's like boom, like what is even going on here? Okay, and so that's why this is a little bit different. And basically, like knowledge work is different now. A machine can do the work for you. So your skill set automatically has to change. Higher education isn't going to change it for you. It's up to people like me to write books and to inform students. I'm sure there'll be some other instructors that are kind of AI savvy. It's up to people like us, you guys, to be innovators. That's why I put in here, if at any point in time you see an opportunity to either make this journal better or to improve the course, to innovate or experiment, shoot me an email or turn it in with your journal and just let me know. I'll give you some bonus points if you want to, go that way. If you don't, that's fine as well. But literally, the whole entire world is about to change because hold on, can everyone mute their mics? I'm getting a little feedback there. Let's see. See if I can mute everyone. Yeah, just please mute your mic if you can. So anyways, so if you think about it, there's tons of people around the world right now using AI. They're bypassing the traditional learning processes and kind of the academic values and core mission of higher education. And then even some instructors are grading with AI. So you have people like just throwing stuff in the learning management system, And then professors or instructors are just throwing in an AI. There's complete disconnection. No one's learning anything. No one's really talking to each other. It's just like two AIs like communicating with each other. Obviously, that's not sustainable for long-term development in society or social well-being, because eventually really bad things are going to happen. That's partly what my book's about. And so what we have to do is we have to make sure that we maintain some of the traditional values and missions of higher education that were working really well, like getting to talk to educated people who have done a lot of work and know what, who have worked out in the real world and can help you, with your career, talking to other students who have similar interests to you, basically all of the human-centric skills, emotional intelligence, communication, critical thinking, all of those now, since an AI can replicate that, becomes super important. And those are going to separate you from everyone else who just used ChatGPT to get through college, right? And so that's what this is for. So if you have any questions or concerns along the way, let me know. I realize it's a little bit different, but once you get the hang of it, I've done journals before, with classes, and most people get the hang of it right away. But if you need any help, let me know. Okay, so let's move on to kind of the main template for the course. We'll look at assignment 2, should let me load it. You can't load it yet, that's why we're going over this. And so it's going to be very similar to assignment 1. Okay, we have the learning objectives, and you're going to also listen to an audio overview, but then you get to choose one video source and one text source, right? And you just need to include, so you'll have an audio, video, and a text, multimodal. This just helps you learn better, scientifically proven. And you will use those 3 sources, guided by the journal in the same way, to put your project together. And let's see here, I have the journal link here. And again, there are bugs all the time. Sometimes there's errors because I'm just literally like making this stuff from hand. I don't let AI make anything. If anyone's ever just like, well, you guys have been instructors, but if I just tell AI to make an assignment for you guys, it really sucks. Students can't read it, they can't understand it. AI is really good at some things, but it's really not. That's also one of the things about AI ethics and literacy competencies, is like knowing what the strengths of AI are and what the weaknesses are. It cannot just make assignments. So I go through and I have to handwrite these, and then sometimes I'll have it enhance it, but you should always do your work first if you're using AI, and then have the AI enhance what you already do, because then you're augmenting your own knowledge, skills, and abilities, right? If you just do it before you put any work into it, it's literally you're replacing the learning process, you're skipping it and all that. But if you think about it this way, you have a key, which is your own knowledge, your own words, do everything to the best of your ability, stick it in there, it enhances and augments it, and then you're actually making yourself smarter with AI. But unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, the AI companies who made AI, they don't think there's anything wrong. They thought higher education was already broken. But from the higher education perspective, obviously people who run colleges, they think this is like, AI, the new AI is really bad. Okay, so anyways, I will perseverate about AI sometimes, so just tell me to shut up before any meeting. Okay, so here's journal 2. It's the same thing. Like I said, we have let's just start here. Of course, you can put your name here. Like I said, you're free to add your additional notes, thoughts, diagrams, whatever you want. One tip, knowing it so if you guys do the paid version of ChatGPT, it's really good for creating images. It's not the best for academic work because it's not as powerful as a model as like Google's new Gemini model, like the 2.5 Pro, which is also cheaper. So I use Gemini 2.5 Pro to do all my knowledge work because it's just so much better than ChatGPT, but it can't make images. But ChatGPT, especially like the upper echelon models, you can just like type some stuff in. It can make this really cool visual for you and stuff like that. So again, knowing like the strengths and weaknesses of AI. For, let's see, section 1, understanding the basic, right, we're going to look at theory and research methods in week 2. And again, this is just going to guide you through it. You're listening to the audio overview, or maybe you've just listened to it and you're looking through the reading, or you've looked at this first, and then you feel comfortable enough with describing sociology in your own words. And some of this stuff is really easy. Like some of this stuff you don't even have to, like this is we're in the, oh, by the way, we're in the 5th industrial revolution now. If you guys didn't know that, 4th industrial revolution has already passed by. So this can just be done with a quick Google search. Like, what is sociology? Just teach yourself real fast, okay? Don't spend a bunch of time wasting a bunch of time on some endeavor that when you could just look it up online, okay? So be smart about how you work. How does sociology generally differ from another social science? When you Google this phrase right here, what is sociology, then this is also going to come up, okay? But the actual audio overview itself is very powerful. It's very thorough, and it's in really easy to understand terms. So for those of you who are like, oh man, I'm interested in social sciences, maybe I want to learn more, I want to start thinking like a social scientist, then you can, fully engage with that. But if you're just like me, super busy, got 10 million things going on, just do the work, learn what you're supposed to. And a lot of this class is about me teaching you how to teach yourself, which is the problem a lot of some students have with the course, because everything's been kind of, paved out in black and white for them. They haven't really had to learn on their own. And then also there's a level of ambiguity. So I'm all about letting you do what advances you, right, on these assignments and the final project. I'm not going to put you inside some box that just because I went to certain school and think this way, I'm not going to try to fit the whole class inside that box, because that's not productive to you. It's not going to help you guys advance your own careers. And so when you see something that doesn't make sense or it's just kind of open-ended, just think about it first. I encourage you guys to experiment and innovate and do things on your own before you're just like, oh, this doesn't make sense or this isn't specific enough. If it's a little bit ambiguous, that's most likely intentional. And it's there to teach you real world problem solving skills. Because guess what? When you leave college, like college is all about getting so specific with all these learning objectives and constructive alignment. That's not how the real world works. Most people don't think like academics. You go out into business and they're just like, they throw you in the fire. You either do great or you don't. You get burned out. You go to the next job. Now, a lot of people, they go to jobs every 3 or 4 years. And so this is literally to help prepare you for how life actually is versus some like weird reality that, college tries to prepare you for that isn't real. For example, like at no point in your lifetime after you leave college, when you encounter a problem, are you going to be like, man, I got to go take an exam over this right now. I got to go take a test. Somebody make me a test. Never. It's not how the real world works, right? And so higher education, like I said, is a little bit behind, but we're going to take the best parts that are still hanging on of higher education, use those to advance our own interests and goals, and make, the best out of it. So, okay, moving on. You can, so look, you can use this to analyze your multimodal learning resources, right? Choose what reading or document what reading and video you have chosen, make the notes about it here. And yeah, this is meant to be very simple. Just document everything, put it all into one document, which is your journal, and then use that to make a presentation over it, but it's a video presentation, okay? And you're like, oh God, why do we have to do video? Well, think about it. If I just have you guys do a paper or do something else that you can turn in, there's no way for me to distinguish if you guys are actually learning. But even if you do use AI and you have to put a presentation together and talk about it, you have to engage with the material no matter what. So you can't help but at least engage with it. Even if you don't learn everything you're supposed to, you'll at least learn enough to meet the college's standards before you move on. But in 3 or 4 more years, they'll have an AI that can replicate you making a video. And so we'll have to adapt then. Okay, I'm going to stop talking again for a minute because I'm just going and going. I'm going to open it up for questions again. Any questions? Okay, if there was any questions, your microphone was muted and I didn't hear you. I don't see any hands raised. Okay, I'm going to record it's recorded. I'm going to send this out to everyone else. If you have any follow-up questions, let me know. But again, it's supposed to be very simple. It's supposed to be about you taking all this and making it your own. So if you want, there's a lot of freedom in this. If you're interested in X field or X social problem or X career, and you start to see stuff that could connect to that, and you think it could advance you more, using that in your presentation or adding that in, or at least applying sociology to that specific field, subject, or career, go ahead and do it, because that's going to advance you way more and it's going to make it more interesting than me just trying to get you, to like recite whatever's in the sources. So a lot of freedom. Again, if you have questions, email, text me anytime, and yeah, so I'll give another 10 kind of seconds of awkward silence if anyone wants to ask a question. go ahead. Other than that, then I'll sign out. All right, guys, I think we've reached consensus. I hope you guys have a good night, rest of your weekend. Get some rest and relax, and don't work too hard.